The Tangent Egg podcast is aimed at a mature audience. It contains themes that are not appropriate for all listeners. It's important to note that we are not experts. We routinely have no idea what we're talking about and are just three idiots sitting around a table. Listener discretion is advised.
Editor Seth here. Unfortunately, on this recording, I forgot to turn off my fan before we started recording. I do turn it off part of the way through, but unfortunately, you're gonna have to deal with the fan noise when I'm talking. Sorry about that. Make sure it doesn't ever happen again. Welcome to the Tangent Egg podcast. I'm Seth, and as always, with me is Jondoe and Swoosh.
Hello.
Hello.
And Jondoe's got that sultry, seductive, deep voice that I used to have when I was sick.
I've been chewing gravel apparently, so this is going to be a fun night.
Sexy.
So, this week we wanted to, mostly because we've been talking about it a bit lately, and it's been a big deal within the nerd community, is how fucking insane Edgerunners has gone.
Yeah, no, it's taken off a lot, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's absolutely exploded. People absolutely love to see the show, love the characters, and it is taken back over the mod scene for the actual video game, and the game is at like, what was, I think you were saying something like 100,000 concurrent players?
125,000 concurrent players. Makes it the most popular single-player title on like Steam. I think it's gone right up on top of the charts. I don't know what the time bracket is,
wow.
But it's gone back over Witcher 3 and a whole heap of other games. It's absolutely blown it out of the water. This is what
Which means
should have been when it launched.
Which means essentially this is one of the few game tie-ins of other media that we can actually count in the success portion.
Oh, yeah.
Very few times do we get any kind of crossover to a different thing and have it coherent and good. Like,
hell, it's not just been coherent and good, it's kicked life back into the original property.
Yeah.
And I think it's quite well deserved. I remember seeing, because a lot of people are creating builds based on the characters from Edgerunners. And I've watched a few of the videos thinking, wait a minute, those abilities and that gear, that sucked at the start. Now I'm watching this video and it's really, really good.
Yeah.
It seems like they put a lot of work into getting it all the way up. I think they're up to 1.6 now.
I think it's around there.
With Edgerunners was the 1.6 update.
Yeah.
And,
so between when they launched and now, they have done a lot.
Like, I'm
God damn.
tempted to get back into that game.
The 1.3 update fixed a lot, and then the 1.5 and 1.5.2 really kicked a lot of it back in the guts. And now this is just really polishing it up. This is really where it should have been. And
Oh, yeah.
I'm going back through a playthrough I haven't touched in a while, and I'm really enjoying it again. Cyberpunk is fucking awesome.
This is what we
I'm
wanted when
really-
it first came out, but it's like, we got there eventually. It's just, you should have maybe delayed a bit, guys.
Look, we don't know what all the factors in the background were. Although, from what if I recall from way back when the game launched, there was a big thing where the developers were telling them no, and it was the board of the directors who went, no, put it out.
Yeah, which is apparently a very common thing now. It's like, no, we pay you, therefore you do what we say. It's like, but we're putting out an inferior product which will hurt your brand. Which,
hence why so many games are not doing that.
Yeah, like,
they can't survive that kind of brand backlash.
was it Bloodlines went into hiatus for a while? It's like, oh no, we can't get away with this bullshittery because they just fucked us over. We're back into the corner.
Bloodlines gone fucking MIA.
Oh yeah, no, didn't they just end up switching into an entirely new studio or something? Or
I have no idea. I've been keeping an eye on
something
it
happened
ever since I saw that Christmas trailer, and I was like, ooh, this does not look good. I really haven't watched
Yeah,
it.
the PS2 level graphics, that was that was a bit sad.
But
Anyway, if
point
anyone's
is,
got Cyberpunk in their back catalogue on Steam or wherever,
Get it.
Get the latest update, give it a run. It is thoroughly enjoyable. And Edgerunners, I think, if that's the direction they're going to take for the future of it, I'm really looking forward to it because they've still got another major DLC to come out. They're currently talking about a second season of Edgerunners. Well, they're hoping there's a second season of Edgerunners. So that's just more content for the game, more lore building, universe building. I'm fucking all for it.
And there's a lot of lore in there. Like,
Oh, yeah.
even the old, like,
Yeah.
they're just drawing upon the old books, the old like, RPG system. And there's some decent lore in there. It's not exactly a one-to-one comparison. There was some stuff left out, but it's close enough that I'm enjoying it. But
I was like running through it. I found a couple of the missions that tie into the anime, and I didn't realize they did. I was just playing through. I didn't know what missions they'd added and what they hadn't. And I came across a mission. Was like, oh, I put the brain dancing on so you can play these little videos back, and then it played a clip from the anime. It's like, holy fuck, this is awesome.
nice.
And now they're scattered throughout the world. It's like, oh my god, I actually want to go. There's a collectible I want to find because holy shit, this is awesome.
That reminds me, actually, there was a game a long time ago, and Jondoe, you're a massive fan of Transformers, like, since way back when. What was the game that we found where, when you got a, my brain just malfunctioned entirely, where you got, like, essentially a badge or a little reward thing, and it would reward you with an episode of the original Transformers cartoon.
That was War for Cybertron.
Yeah.
From that trilogy of games, I think it was the second one where they you found things in certain areas and where it related to the old cartoon. It actually showed you a clip from that part of it.
Oh no!
Not just that, but you could unlock entire episodes in certain points.
As
It
you
was
got further on.
it was great.
Yeah, it was really fucking cool. That was just a great way of doing it, tying it back
Oh, yeah.
to the original source.
I would love that, because then you could go into a gallery afterwards. I want to watch some Transformers, and you watch the episode in full. It's like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
We can get the thing down to that size now. That's a viable option. And I would like that with more media. If I had to play through like an action game to unlock parts of a series, I think that'd be pretty fun. But I'm weird, so...
The download for any generic game is then going to be the size of fucking any COD title. You're going to end up with
Oh, yeah.
80, 90
I mean,
games.
does anyone remember the debacle that was, what was it? Fuck. Quantum...
We all remember Quantum.
Fuck.
That's the game.
No,
We don't
no,
talk about
no,
the dark
no.
days.
Fuck. It was that game that starred the dude who played Iceman.
Quantum. I want to say Quantum Break, but I'm not certain on that.
I think it was Quantum Break.
My brain is screaming Quantum Leap, but that's just a really bad old
That's an
TV show.
old TV show.
I know.
How is that not
Yeah,
going to
Quantum Break.
Excellent.
It does.
Brain
It's
did
actually
that.
happening.
Oh.
Yes, Quantum Break. Because Quantum Break had all those TV show episodes in it, and it was like over half the fucking game files were just episode downloads.
Well, that was a good thing about War for Cybertron, because the old school like stuff for Transformers was low quality already. It didn't take up a lot of space.
No, it could be heavily encoded and compacted. And even if like you're in game, you can watch it on an in-game fucking smaller screen. You're not going to have to watch it on a full 4K fucking monitor.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Show me some more pixels. So
It was just a was a great little
I can't
feature.
see
I loved
Optimus
it.
Prime's paws.
But like,
doing a game for an older title, I think that'd be a great way to bring people back into the older title, as well as add content to newer games. I think that'd be a great idea.
absolutely.
It particularly helps when you've got an in-universe reason for it to function.
Yeah.
Particularly with like Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
Brain dances, theoretically, could be essentially anything you want them to be. So, clips from the anime? Sure.
Freaking oath.
It works. Like, fuck, why not?
And I gotta congratulate Studio Trigger on what they did for that anime. It is absolutely a tour de force on style and output.
I have to actually sit down and watch it. It's on my to-watch list at the moment, but that list is getting longer and longer.
I think I'm the only person who's actually watched it.
Yeah, me and Jondoe have been bad nerds recently.
I've watched bits of it through Cyberpunk the game, but yeah, it's
I-
one of those things where it's like I need to get around to watching that, but I've got games to play.
I got a new PC. I'm going to do all the gaming stuff again.
Like, that's all pretty fair. But it is good. And, I mean, like, Trigger's previous works that at least the ones I remember, being Kill la Kill and Gurren Lagann, like, they know what they're doing.
I love Gurren Lagann. It's one of my favorites. But
Yes.
I do have the list of all their stuff up at the moment. So they did Kill la Kill. A few other ones I have not heard of. So When Supernatural Battles Become Commonplace is one of them.
I don't know.
That's
that
I've
one.
never heard of it. It is. But they're the ones who did Little Witch Academia, which was fun and silly.
Oh, yeah.
They did Darling in the Franxx, which is the weird mech one.
Oh yeah,
with the handlebars.
Known that. I've watched Darling in the Franxx. How did I not remember that?
They also did Panty and Stocking with Garter Belt. So the second season of that. So yeah, they've done some stuff. They also did was it Promare, which was a anime movie about people with like pyrokinetic power. It was visually spectacular. I had no idea what was going on.
That was the one that came out at the same time as Fire Force.
Yeah.
And that people were like, who cribbed whose notes?
Yeah, pretty much. But it was like, I liked it. It was visually stunning. But at the same time, I had no idea what was going on. It was so very odd. They also were in Star Wars Visions for episode 3 and 7. So the twins and the Elder. They were the ones that they did.
Oh, yeah.
And Inferno Cop, which I have never seen. So that's fun. But on this list, there is one thing that's to be announced, which I'm kind of interested in, which is it's called Delicious in Dungeon, and the basic plot of it is a group of guys, of adventurers, went to a dungeon, fought a dragon, and were getting the shit kicked in. So a fair people of them died, and they were emergency teleported out by one of their people. And they're like, alright, according to the law, dragons take a really long time to digest someone, so technically he's probably still alive. So, if we can get down there, like, right fucking now, we can get him out. And it's like, but we have no money for provisions, what do we do? And apparently their way around it is, we're just gonna eat the monsters we find, it's fine. So, the entire story is their adventures, fighting stuff, getting deeper and deeper in the dungeon, whilst also, like, Food Wars style, we're making food out of this random monster, and here's what we made. And, like,
that actually sounds really entertaining.
Right? I don't know why, but I'm keen for this. It's ticking a lot of boxes.
I'm more keen because of that setup and then giving it to Trigger.
Yeah. Like, so far Trigger has not done us wrong. At least that we know of. But yeah.
So, getting to the meat of this episode, Dan wants to watch some anime.
I want to be recommended a good anime, something I can sink my teeth into. I've got a hell of a back catalogue on Steam, and I want to step away from it for a little bit because it's a little too daunting. I want something to watch so I can turn a brain off and enjoy it.
Alright, so what kind of genre do we want to go for? Like action-y things, or...?
I'll tell you, you throw an anime at me, and I'll tell you what I think of it after.
Oh, this could be a dangerous thing. Well, we've already done a couple of anime episodes, so we did some stuff there. From those previous episodes, I would definitely recommend Bufuri, because that was just a fucking great series.
That's a real good, like, chill out end of the day show.
Yeah, it's got some action to it, but at the same time, it's not like you don't have to be right into it. If you can find the what's the one? Not unedited, uncensored version of Terraformers, watch it. It's great. The basic concept is humans tried to terraform Mars by sending like all this algae and a bunch of like cockroaches there to like change the environment, and it worked. But then the cockroaches like evolved and became essentially giant muscle men, and were killing anything that came near them. So it's like, oh, what do we do? All right, we've taken people and spliced in animals into them to make them into these things, and we'll send them to go kill them. And the first thing, they turn up, they're all like, yeah, we're fucking superpowered, we're great. One of them's murdered near instantly by just one cockroach thing. It's like, oh, fuck. And it's great. I loved it. Problem is, the censored version blacks out half the screen. Like, anytime there's blood. Yeah, but you can get the uncensored version, it's just hard to find. Only certain people
I'll try and track it down. I'll get you to send me that title. I'll track down a bit of it.
I'll pop that in our discussion chat.
Something for it to watch.
I mean, if we're talking like action shows, then I feel like we can't go past 86.
86 is a great show, actually. Yeah.
So it's kind of a light mecha show. The idea is that you have this big walled city, and it contains 87 districts. And then there's the 86th district, which is outside the wall. The people who are part of the 86th district are, by the government, considered not people. They are animals.
They actively call them pigs. Because like the way they pitch everything to the civilians inside is no human casualties have occurred in this war because of our unmanned drones. The drones are manned by people, and they say, oh, no, we put like an animal brain in them. It's fine. It's not people. And yeah, it's
that sounds
horrible.
like colonising Australia. There's no people here.
Wait.
It's fine.
No, it's not. I'm an idiot. It's not fucking regions. It's the 86th Division. I'm a moron.
You're thinking of
Been a while
Hunger
since
Games
you
for a
watched
second
86.
there. But yeah, no, it was...
It's not. It's the outside district. People outside the wall fight in this big ongoing war with an AI army. And these mech, with these like 4-legged mech tank things, which are really cool.
They're
and they move
great.
really fast.
They're a mobile. Basically, they've put a tank, tank gun onto a tiny mobile thing, which is like a one-man craft. No armor on it, because why would you armor a thing you don't consider human? And there's just a group of them going out. But the idea is, was it 10 years of service or something? It's a certain amount of time they have to be in service, and then they can become an honorary citizen, and they're allowed in the wall.
And we're not going to spoil anything.
Yeah, so it's these guys just going through everything else. So it's really fun. I enjoyed it. It's depressing and dark, but really good.
Oh, look, as you
It
get...
sounds somewhere between the spider bots from Ghost in the Shell and Robotech.
Little bit, yeah.
That's actually a good way to put it, yeah. They do kind of move like the Tachikoma.
They do, yeah. That mobility and the separate legs and that kind of thing. Like, it's just well put together. I've enjoyed everything they've gone for it so far.
All the characters are great. When they start getting into some of the really darker bits of what the AI army can do, it's pretty fucked. It's a good show, though. I would highly recommend 86 if you want something that's a bit more on the action
I
side.
quite
Just
like
make sure
a
you
bit
get
of-
attached
bit
to
of
all.
mecha action. Old Transformers fan, like the old Robotech, Macross. Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm good for both of those. All right.
Then you'll probably like 86. 86 was really good. What else could we recommend?
I mean, if you want something lighthearted to watch with the missus or something, there's Kuma Kuma Bear. Kuma Bear.
I was not that into Kuma Bear.
It is just dumb. I enjoyed it. It's like... It's an isekai thing where some chick is transported into a game world and is given a set of armor that's unique, and it's just a bear onesie. But it buffs all her stats to a point. It's like, well, I'm just going to use this bear onesie forever. And it's dumb and stupidly fun.
That feels a little Squirrel Girl.
Little bit. It's... If you just want to like turn your brain off and have something in the background that's kind of cutesy and like slice of life, go for it.
I mean, yeah, but like, it doesn't fit in. Like, to me, it doesn't hit quite the same box like Bofuri does.
Oh no, that one was like the epitome of that one. Like, it's slice of life with action. That was the balance done properly.
Yeah, I think Kuma's missing the balance.
Yeah.
Although I'm 30-something white dude, I'm not that into cutesy anime.
Although we both did get into one called The Saint's Magic Power is Omnipresent.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Like, okay,
It's really chill.
the basic premise of that one is generic isekai kind of thing, but instead of summoning one person, they accidentally summon two. And what they do is like, oh, we summoned the Saint, we've got two of them. Well, that one is older and probably uglier looking. We'll go with this young one. She's clearly the Saint. That one will sweep under the rug. You can go away. And it's like, we're so sorry for the way you were summoned here, but we're not going to do much with you. It's like, alright, cool. Let me play in the garden and do other stuff. It's like, alright, cool. And then she starts just doing things in the background and fucking with their world. And I like it. But
It's really chill and does it slow. It doesn't like, oh, we see she has magic powers. Clearly she must be someone super important. It's like, no, she makes potions good.
yeah,
Okay.
like, she makes potions good. Well done. We have a fighty person over there who's clearly the Saint to fight all the monsters. And it's another one that got the balance right, I think. Because it's a non-combatant who's now being pulled along with combatants. And just watching her flip out, like, I don't know what's going on, freak. It's like, I like this. That's what I would do. I would freak the fuck out.
Well, after all the the lit RPG books I've been listening to, and our book this month of He Who Fights with Monsters, that actually sounds pretty fucking cool.
Oh man, like it.
If you want an anime that's like that, then you should check out Jobless Reincarnation.
Yes, that was one of the grandfathers of the isekai genre. Like,
it was basically the light novel that got that genre off the ground.
Yeah, it spawned a genre. Like, the idea is great. Just a lecherous, like, 35-year-old man gets reincarnated into a child, and they keep making reference, like, why is this child looking at me like it knows something? It's just, like, anytime... like, oh, it's great. He's just a lecherous, dirty old man in the body of a child with immense magical power.
That sounds
but,
quite
like, you know, he goes on... Like, he like, develop... Like, because he can develop these powers really quick, and he does... Like, he gets overconfident, and then he suddenly has to deal with, like, realizations of consequences, and there's a bit where he gets, like, separated from a lot of his support network, and it really develops incredibly well. Yeah. Like, it's unlike most things where you get the proto version of something, and it's like, I don't know, like, how did this ever... It's like playing the Uncharted games and going back to Uncharted 1 and going, how did this make a sequel? Yeah. Unlike that, Jobless Reincarnation, it's like, oh, of course this spawned a genre. This is great.
If you also enjoy that kind of thing, there's one that I watched that was recommended to me by a friend, which is called Standing on a Million Lives. So I'm standing on a million lives. And the idea of that one is a guy gets brought into a game, essentially. There's this weird game master who's just a 3D-ish looking man with, like, from his eyes down exists. Above that, nothing. It's just a blank slate. And he gets pulled in. It's like, right, you have a mission. You have to do X. If you don't do this, bad things happen. It's like, what bad things? Like, you're only going to ask me a question if you win the challenge. Off I go. And every time they go for a new one, they get new people added. So they have to make it through X amount of missions. And these can last for months at a time. They could be stuck in this other world. And they're just, like, trying to figure out what the hell is going on. I was like, is this a game? Is this, like, an alternate dimension? Are these people NPCs or are they real? And it's a interesting concept, I think. Especially because he keeps getting the worst jobs ever. To the point where this... like, everyone else gets, like, you know, warrior or armored person. He's, like, he gets to be a farmer. Like... he gets, like, the worst of the worst. Like, the tiniest slivers on the roulette wheel he has to spin for a job. It's like, you are now a farmer. It's like, what? How do I kill things as a farmer? It's like, not my problem, off you go. And off he goes back in. And, it's dumb. I enjoyed it. It's got some slow bits to it, but it's a ponderous character, so he's not going to launch into things as quickly.
Nice.
What else we got?
So I'm a spider, so what? That was fun.
Look, that was actually a surprisingly good show.
Yeah.
It follows in this, like, the current big trend in anime to try and shake up the isekai format is the reincarnated, but as an animal.
I mean, reincarnated as a slime definitely knocked that out the ballpark. And this one was one of the other standouts that came from that kind of subgenre.
Yeah. The idea is a nerdy girl gets reincarnated as a spider in the bottom of a dungeon. And then, you know, using her general idea knowledge as a nerd, figures out how the kind of RPG system works and just sort of...
games the system.
Exploits it.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. To the point where what they call a quote-unquote admin contacts them. It's like, stop it. It's like, oh, okay.
I mean, the one thing I thought that took me a little while to trigger, like, you see the story of the show from the viewpoint of the main character, who is the spider, and some of her classmates, and their interaction with the world. And it took me a little minute to trigger that, like, when you're looking at the show from the perspective of her classmates, anytime they see this thing that they hear of is this crazy demon spider, and it looks like one, that's actually the main character, but when you see it, it looks like a cute little spider.
Yeah. There is a point where they see the spider from the view of adventurers, and it's terrifying. It's like a haunting, like, thing. and it's just fucking people up. And it's like, because there's an entire episode where she's not in it, but then she is. It's like,
Yeah.
And that's where that connection comes from. It's good fun. Like, it's got some good action to it. It's got some good comedy to it. But yeah, no, it's the whole thing is for a while she's just trying to find something that tastes nice, because she's just eating raw stuff in a dungeon. Like, this tastes slimy and horrible. I hate everything.
But I'm hungry.
And then she finally finds a thing that tastes delicious and hunts it to fucking extinction.
I mean, I remember she got really excited when she finally got to the fire level because she could cook things.
Yes, it's such a fun thing. And it's not the whole overpowered stuff. She always it subscribes to the One Piece way of leveling up, where she gets the shit kicked out of her and then comes back later when she's powered up and figured out how to fight the thing. Because it's like, and I like that method more, to be honest, because there's the three distinct things from the big three. There's, the one character who is God and can do no wrong, which is the Naruto version. Jeebus Naruto will save us with a new technique. Then there's Bleach, which is just, he can't die. Like, he never loses fight,
I'm
always
gonna
wins.
face tank everything.
Yeah, and then there's One Piece, where it's like, alright, they got the shit kicked out of them. What now? They get back up and kick the shit back in. It's like, I like that. This is better. But, yeah.
I mean, like, how do you feel about, like, alt history type stuff, Dan?
I like old history things.
I don't think I've experienced enough on it to have a thought either way. I've seen some things I like, some things like,
So, like, one of my favorite shows is one called The Saga of Tanya the Evil. The idea is there's this, like, do you know what the concept of a salaryman in Japan is?
I couldn't tell you off the top of my head.
It's generally the office worker type job.
Yep.
And you've generally got to be pretty ruthless to climb the ladder as a salaryman. The idea is that the character at the start is this absolute dick. He's just fired some dude. He's kind of high and rolling high on life. He's this dude. And the guy he fired pushes in front of a train. At the point where he dies, some kind of spiritual creature appears to him and goes, I will let you reincarnate in another world. And he's like, fuck you, you're not God. You could be an alien, I don't know. At which point, it's like, well, like, the only reason you think like that is because you have such a nice life. If you actually suffered, you'd believe I'm God. And he's like, fuck you, I wouldn't. Alright, cunt. I'm gonna put you in this shitty world, and you're gonna be shit. And he does. He resurrects him as this child, female, in this sort of like, it's not medieval, sort of like World War I era type setting. At which point, because he retained all these memories as a salaryman, because the idea is this thing wants him to suffer and, like, have to grow, he, of course, just starts gaming the system. It's like, well, I know how this fucking shit works. I'll be fine. So it gives him, like, crazy magical powers, because we're like, fuck you, now they're gonna want you to be in the military.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, then, I'll just become a general and have a really good backline job. But of course, he's insanely powerful, so he gets a lot of frontline stuff. But he just starts fucking with shit because he's this tiny child. My favorite bit is there's a bit where they're attacking a weapons depot, and part of the rules of the war are if you're going to blow up a civilian man target, you have to announce that you're going to do it so that the civilians can leave.
Yeah.
At which point, the 2IC in his squad goes, well, do you want to do the announcement? Does the announcement, everyone's like, what the fuck, why is a child pretending to threaten us? This is clearly fake. At which point they then bomb the shit out of it and kill everybody. But they followed the rules. They made the announcement.
Yeah.
They just had the child do it.
Actually, do you remember the hero is overly cautious?
Oh, yeah.
That one is Overkill the anime, and it's amazing.
The cautious hero is... the hero is overpowered but overly cautious.
Yeah. So
That's a dumb name, but it's a good
essentially,
show.
this guy has, like... It's the whole thing of, I've got to summon someone to a world to defeat the demon lord, blah, 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 blah. And he essentially just kidnaps the goddess. Is like, nah, you work for me now. To the point where it's like, all right, we're going to go down to the starting area and we're going to do this. It's like, no, we're going to train first. So he starts training in the god realm because time passes differently. And all he's doing is like just constant push-ups and that kind of stuff. Just training his body. Eventually goes and just, he's horribly over-leveled for the area he's in and just wrecks shit. But then ends up fighting a big thing anyway. Because that demon lord's not playing by the rules. And just decimates. It's like, oh, you've won. It's like, not yet. And just starts fireballing the body again. It just sits there continuously burning it. It's like, we have to burn it away until there's nothing left, just in case.
The thing you gotta understand, it's not just a fireball. This is like a nuke.
Yeah, like there's
He's
a town nearby. There's a town nearby. It just keeps cutting to their faces. It's like, what is that? What's going on? But great fun, because every time he does, alright, we'll go on an adventure. It's like, no, you're opening a portal back to the fucking god realm. I have more training to do. It's like, no, it's not how this works. And then just cuts them back in the god realm. It's like, oh, we're back here.
I love that bit right at the start when he's like, she brings him food and he's like, you eat it. Why? It might be poison.
Yeah.
What? I'm a goddess. Why would I do that?
Why would I poison you? Like,
I don't know you.
I don't know who you are. You summoned me here without my consent. Like, But
And then she eats some and he's like, you might be immune.
I like there's a bunch of other gods that he meets along the way, and one of them is like a god of fighters, and it's like, you're gonna train me. Like, oh, I'll do that. I relish the challenge. And then it cuts to like the goddess's perspective, where it's like, oh, it's him. It's like, how's it going? Yeah, it's a bit interesting. He's got an interesting, personality. It cuts to the next day, just sitting there like broken as a human being, in the cafeteria, just eating things. Like, how's it going? I don't want to talk about it. I just want to eat my food. Leave me alone. And it just progresses from there. Eventually, this warrior god becomes a baker. He's like, I'm done. I give up.
He starts drying out kelp strips and shit.
All because this guy is just so intense. It's like, yeah, I'm in. Because that's the point, right?
It's an absolute comedy anime, but it's really, really good.
And the fact that he power levels his NPCs. It's good fun and just very dumb. Although, if you want something that is not as action-filled, it's more of a slow burn, but very interesting. Moriarty the Patriot is a really fun anime. Because that's Sherlock Holmes and Moriarty, but it focuses on Moriarty as a crime, essentially aficionado. So he helps people. He's a crime broker. He assists people in doing what they want to do. And the first episode is really, really good. And I will give minor spoilers for it because it sets the tone for the rest of the series, and I want more people to watch it. Essentially, he finds a tailor whose son was brutally murdered and sexually assaulted by a lord. He doesn't know who it is, but Moriarty figures it out. But when he's explaining it to Moriarty, it's like, you watch the light die in this man's eyes as he describes what he would want to do to this person. It's like, if I ever find this person, and literally, the animation for it is the light in the eye just slowly dimming and then gone. It's like, that was amazing. And then the end of the episode is Moriarty turns up and it's like, come with me, and takes the tailor with him to a random secluded barn in the middle of nowhere. So open the door. Opens the door, and it's the Lord who murdered the guy's son, just sitting there in a chair tied up. It's like, that's the person who murdered your child. I am going to go outside and finish this cigarette. When I am done, I will come back. I will clean up whatever is left. You have until then. And just walks out and closes the door behind him. And yeah, it's a great anime, and more people should definitely watch it.
Yeah.
That sounds absolutely brutal and awesome.
Oh, it is. And they've made the main character strangely endearing. He's a villain. He's a bad person. But he's still endearing and really nice about it. It's so strange to watch, but really good.
Given that we're talking a lot about like action anime and stuff, I would be remiss if I didn't bring up Demon Slayer.
Oh god, this the animation in general from that. Holy shit.
Oh yeah, no, like it has got some of the smoothest, most jaw-dropping animation I have seen in a long time.
Yeah.
Like it is absolutely gorgeous.
Even if you don't watch the anime, just look up the fight scenes. Like, if you just look up any one of them, it's enough to sell most people on that anime. Just on those, like, styles alone. Because it's all based around sword fighting and that kind of thing. But their magic is essentially breathing techniques. And that kind of thing. So the main character uses a water breathing technique. So everything's based around the flow and that kind of thing.
Sort of.
Yeah. He does branch into
he transitions to sun breathing.
Yeah. But then there's like his side characters are the Misfits. One of them has beast breathing, and he wears a boar as a hat. So he's a full mask that looks like a boar. Or at least the head of one. And every time they take it off, he's just ridiculously handsome. And everyone's like, what the? Why do you look like a really, really pretty woman? It's like, what do you mean? Fuck you. And he's just a wild guy. And the other one is a complete and utter scaredy cat who failed at everything because he's just meant to be the worst one there is. He knows one form of breathing, which is the first form of the lightning breathing, which is meant to be super fast, which he can only use when he's passed out. Because it's been ingrained in him so much that he can still use it. But his awake self is completely useless. He's terrified of absolutely everything. So if he's ever knocked out, it just ruins the day.
Like, ever so slight spoiler, like, I've actually read the manga all the way through for Demon Slayer. That dude turns into a fucking beast later.
Oh, yeah. I have no doubt he would. I need to read that one, actually. I have to go through and read a bunch of it. But
I mean, it is done. You can complete read all of Demon Slayer.
Is it on
I
Shonen Jump, or is that one of the ones they look?
Yes.
Ah,
yes, it is.
Neat. I have the app for that.
So, like, you can read it all, and I have, and I'm still hyped for the anime, because it's like, all of this was really cool to read, but knowing how good the studio handling this will do the animation, I'm just like, it's gonna be so dope!
Yes! I've enjoyed all of it so far. It's like watching Jujutsu Kaisen or God of High School, but they have an interesting plot line as well. Whereas Jujutsu Kaisen and God of High School were very much, we do the action punchy punch. And it's gorgeous. I mean, it is absolutely amazing.
Jujutsu Kaisen's better at it than God of High School.
Yeah.
God of High School is... Like, I love God of High School, but that is a weirdly set up story-wise anime.
It is. But the Jujutsu Kaisen and God of High School have the same studio did the animation for it. And holy crap, they are good at choreographed fight scenes. Like, holy shit. It's fun.
I would be willing to... I mean, it's Mappa, and Mappa are easily the best in the biz right now for animating a fight scene. It is insane how good they are.
It's one of those things that you can just watch it, and you don't need subtitles, really, because there's very little talking. It's just punch the things. But God of High School is a tournament where you can use anything. You're open to use weapons against someone who just punches things. It doesn't matter. Bring whatever you want. So one guy turns up with just a baseball bat. It's like, I'm gonna fuck everyone's day, and immediately gets the shit kicked out of him. One of the main characters uses a sword, and the others are all like just fisty things. But no, it's fun.
I mean, I know we talked about it last time we talked about anime, which you weren't here for, Dan. But like the level of there's a term for it for anime called sakuga, which is where the studio dumps way more money into a sequence than anything else because they animate it super good. If you've ever seen a transformation sequence or like Digimon when they digivolve, that sequence would be considered sakuga. God of High School, I swear to God, it was just a bunch of animators who just wanted to do sakuga all the time. Yeah. Some of these scenes where they fight, it is absolutely gorgeous. A lot of the fighters get their own art styles, and really distinct ways they're represented. Like there's a dude who does the main guy, not the Monkey King guy, the other
Jiu-jitsu.
guy. He does is jiu-jitsu? Okay,
I think so.
But he's got all these different forms of it, and when he really gets into it, like the background washes out and it turns into this like black and white painterly style, like Japanese calligraphy, and it really complements the old world style of his martial art. But he's the only guy who gets it. Everybody else gets something else. He has this one art style that's associated with his combat. It's so good. It is just a beautiful... Story's trash.
There is no story to it. It is just Tournament Arc, the anime.
But it, animation-wise, God, it is absolutely beautiful.
Although there is one anime... In the preamble before the episode, we were talking about a couple of things. And there's one that we do need to force Jondoe to watch, and that's...
Are we talking about Glypnir?
We're talking about Glypnir. So, let's just give him the basic pitch. So... In this world, there is just a random alien giving out wishes if you bring him coins, like specific coins. And a guy gets one, a chick gets one, and this guy wakes up one day finding out he can turn into a mascot suit. Like one of the big, proper mascots as well. It's like a weird dog costume.
With a
gun. Big ass revolver. And he finds that he can turn into this thing, and he starts going around doing stuff. But it gets weirder because people can wear him.
It's actually this... Okay, so the basic setup is he finds a girl who was in a burning building. He could smell her in his suit form. Saves her, and then she figures out that it's him.
Yeah.
She wants to collect these coins, but she's not strong enough to fight other people who have powers from having cashed them in. So she suggests that maybe if I put you on, I can use my combat skills with your super durable body. And they have what is probably... Look, I'm not gonna lie.
It's a very weird suit-up sequence.
Yeah, it's probably because I'm a guy and they reverse all of the general language that often gets used, like guys referring to girls, it gets referred the other way around. Because, like, she's climbing inside of him and it's like, ooh, so tight and warm.
Yeah.
Just like, this is weird. This is strange.
The entire anime is weird and strange, but then they start getting into other powers that people get. Because you can kind of request the power you want. He's one of the few people who just got a weird one.
He didn't request it.
He doesn't remember ever
just
requesting
woke
it. He has memories that are kind of there but not there. Which is the main process of his story. He wants to get those memory back. But you find other characters around, like people they fight and that kind of stuff, but other people they work with who have lesser powers, but they're still used in an interesting way. Like, it's interesting and fun. But
so much body horror.
oh yeah, no, there's a lot of body horror. It's good.
I loved Glypnir, like straight up and down. It was one of my favorite anime I've seen, and I can't believe it came back out back in 2020.
Yeah, it was right before lockdown. But we haven't got
so
any
good,
update
though.
on a second season yet, which is kind of sad.
Yeah,
But
I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't get one. It was a bit niche.
Little bit, but I'm hopeful. It hasn't been confirmed cancelled yet.
Although, speaking of really good shows that I really should watch the rest of, I've never actually watched the second season of Fire Force.
Really?
Yeah.
That was another good one for action, to be honest. Like, it was...
Yeah.
It was. They did really well.
So, the setup for this one is, in the future, like, randomly, people, like, just self-combust and turn into fire demons. So there's this entire unit of the police, not police, the fire department, who are all pyrokinetic people, so they can control flame in some degree.
Yeah.
It depends on what generation they are, depends on how much control they have.
It's like a Gen 1 can only control flame, they can't produce it. A Gen 2 can produce their own flame and manifest it in some way. Then Gen 3 can do both.
So there's this whole department, it's the subset of the fire department. They're all split into different districts and they cover different areas. And yeah, they just fight fire demons with fire.
The main character, he can shoot fire from his feet. That's his power. So he uses that to throw himself around. And basically Iron Man's around the city. And he uses mobility and kicks as his main thing. One guy can essentially just create weapons out of flame, which was a fun one. One guy has a plasma sword, and his powers are directly tied to how much he feels like a knight of the round table at any given time.
Yo.
That's what they figure out. Like, he's an idiot. It's like, I hate this guy, but we have to make him feel like a knight right now, or else we'll all die.
There was a bit where he was having trouble manifesting his powers, so they get, like, you know those, like, sticks with a horse head on it? They give him one of these and go, there's your noble seed, feel like a knight now? And he's like, yes! Let's go to battle!
Like, and the good things are, one of their people on their team, he can control the amount of gunpowder that goes off in a thing, or produce the flame that's better. So he can hyper ramp up a gun and shoot just bullets that just destroy the barrel. So instead of having different ammunition, he has replaceable barrels on certain rifles. So he can just destroy something. But he can also mean that any gun in his hands can be non-lethal, because he reduces the firepower of it. Like, it's those kind of little things. Also, their captain has no power. He is just a normal fucking dude, covered in a bunch of fire protective gear. And he's the only unpowered captain in the entire fire force. Like, it's great. The only problem is, he's voiced by the same guy who plays Zoro in One Piece, and I swear to God, the character looks like him too. So all I can think is like, Zoro, did you get so lost you ended up in a different anime? Because I could see that happening, but how?
But with all the fire effects and the whatnot, it generally is another one of those shows that's just absolutely gorgeous to watch.
Actually, that reminds me, if you want a really dumb one-off movie, apart from like any of the Dragon Ball or One Piece movies, there was a movie where they combined Dragon Ball, One Piece, and the other anime that the chick who plays Goku and Luffy also voices the main character for, another Shonen Jump one. All three of them come together, and it's a fun, stupid, bit of fighting and that kind of stuff. But the entire time through it, Vegeta, Piccolo, and Zoro are all missing. It's like, where are they? And eventually, at the end, they're like, where are the other three? And it just cuts to them staring angrily at each other because they just ran into each other in like a desolated field, like, it's angrily grunting in each other's direction. It's like the Vegetas of each one of these things turned up and refused to assist anyone else because they were busy dealing with this random thing in the background. It was just, that alone made me like, I love this. This is stupid and fun.
So I think we've probably yelled enough anime names at you, Dan.
Yeah, I'm gonna need that.
I'm sure there's something in there.
Have to compile a list, and I'll pick something and give it a watch. But yeah, 86 sounds really cool.
Yeah, I
enjoyed
kind of
86.
figured you would gravitate to 86.
Quite like a bit of mecha.
But
Yeah.
what was the last anime you watched? Like,
Oh shit! Actually,
or the one that sticks in your head the most, rather.
I rewatch Cowboy Bebop every now and again, but I had
Good show.
a few months on Crunchyroll, and I was just churning through watching an episode here and an episode there, and never actually got through a whole set, but yeah, watched quite a bit of it. Watched a heap of One Punch Man because I think everyone watched that.
Oh yeah,
so
good fun.
I didn't even
The
realize
same guy.
there was a second season of that till I was like, oh shit, there's more. Okay.
The same.
There is a second season.
Shoot.
There are 2 seasons of One Punch
Yeah.
Man.
I didn't realize that until it was like well after it had come out. I was like, oh fuck, okay, I am a bad nerd. I guess I'll watch this now.
I love the story of One Punch Man and how it came to be and that kind of thing. But the guy also has another one called Mob Psycho 100.
Which is also very
It's
good.
the same thing, but instead of it being a superhero system, it's espers, so like psychic people.
Yeah.
And it's the exact same thing. It's essentially One Punch Man with psychic powers. It's great fun. But that one is really interesting because it has a bunch of the weird, demons and that kind of stuff from Japanese folklore. But that is just the same thing again. If you like One Punch Man, you'll fucking love Mob Psycho.
Yeah, that's actually about to start its 3rd season pretty soon, I think.
Yes, and I am very keen for that. It's going to be good.
Also, I'm pretty sure pretty soon we're supposed to be getting the final arc for Bleach.
Oh, yeah. Forgot they were doing another arc for that.
Bleach is still going? Holy
Bleach and
so
Naruto are still going. And One Piece.
So, okay, Bleach is done. And so is Naruto.
Yeah, now we just have Boruto, which is the one after it.
Yeah, I'm not going to do Naruto. I'm going to do his kid.
Fun fact, with that one, the whole thing of, how Naruto didn't have parents? He's like, I want to be Hokage, and then everyone will like me. He has a kid, then properly neglects the child.
Yeah, I heavily too.
Worst fucking father ever. He can make clones of himself. Just send one to play with your kid occasionally. Nah, none of that. Fuck him.
And it's not like he wouldn't even get the memories, because when he reabsorbs the clones, he learns everything they learned. So it's not even like missing out on precious moments with my kid.
So it's like, the first episode of Boruto is essentially his kid acting out because daddy doesn't pay attention to him. It's like, dude, you were neglected by an entire village. How are you not overcompensating and looking after your kids in this way? Like, the fuck?
I was neglected and I grew up fine. Let him deal with it. He'll be right.
Yeah, exactly. It literally does feel that way. It's like, this is weird.
Yeah, so Bleach actually never did an anime sequence for its final arc.
Yeah.
I believe it was being written around when the show ended. But yeah, I think last I saw it was supposed to be next month, but it's kind of gone MIA.
Yeah.
I don't know when it's actually coming out. But yeah, they're about to do the anime for the final arc. So
Shit.
Bleach will actually have a full completed show.
I remember
Meanwhile,
watching
One
that
Piece is still going.
back in uni, like whatever year that was. Fucking hell.
Like 2006.
It's one of the big
6,
three.
7,
It's been running
8,
for so
somewhere
long.
there. But,
Like, it had...
What intake were you? Were you in the intake with Swoosh?
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, right
September
before me,
intake.
like the half intake before I was there. The
Yeah.
mid-year.
Okay, so because I started 2006 and Swoosh was the year after.
Yeah, I was the September of 06.
Okay.
But yeah.
God, do you realize that means that we're coming up on knowing each other for 20 years?
Ha!
Jesus Christ.
Well,
I
that's
feel
not
sorry
depressing.
for the both of you. Oh, God. At this point, we're stuck
4
together.
more years and we'll have known each other for 20 years.
Holy fuck.
Yeah. Oh, God, we're old.
We're not old. It's
What?
everyone else that's old. Fuck off.
All I hope is that we can reach the singularity before we die. And we just plug the brain in. It'd be good. I, for one, welcome our new AI overlords.
I, for one, plan on being an AI overlord.
Yeah, so, to be honest, the second we get a point where we can, download our consciousness or, what is it, the full dive thing from anime, which is, the full VR
The
thing.
Ready Player One
Plug-
set.
Yeah. Second we have that, I disappear into the internet. I start becoming that weird boogeyman. It's like, yeah, I was, cruising the net, and then somehow ended up in a fantasy world with some guy going, hey, play or die. And then I had to play and win. Turns out only, 2 days passed in real time. I would do that. I just disappear, make weird worlds, summon people to them, and then just disappear.
Just, you start
I'd be an
hijacking
internet
their
cryptid.
web addresses. They
Yeah.
go to search something and, oh shit, wrong spot.
Yeah. I would be an internet cryptid within seconds. Guaranteed. They'd never see me again. But, yeah, we've watched a lot of anime.
Yeah. I haven't watched
And that's
anywhere
not
near
even
enough.
talking about the current airing. We didn't even get onto currently airing anime, which I have not watched enough of to really have strong opinions on.
Same.
I have some stuff I'm keeping an eye on, but yeah, I have not watched enough of them to be like if I was going to recommend anything for the current run, it would probably be Recoil. God, I cannot say that name. That one's pretty fun, but I haven't watched enough of everything else. I've been a bit slack lately. I mean, having been sick the past couple of weeks, I'm just like, I'm not doing subtitles, okay?
Yeah.
Not when I'm sick.
That's the problem. Like, I go in waves for anime where I have to want to sit there and watch something. I normally have stuff in the background, running for just background noise. But with anime, I can't stand dubbed versions. I don't like
very few that are any good.
So I always have the subtitled version because, why not? But I have to then pay attention and watch the thing and not do other stuff.
That's my biggest barricade to it usually. Usually I want to watch it while I'm doing something else. I normally have it on while I'm playing a game or just doing shit around the house. I don't want to have to sit there and stare at that when I've got other shit I need to do. So that's usually the biggest hurdle for it.
Yeah, every so often, like, my brain rolls around to hyperfixate on it again. It's like, we're going to watch all of this. Like, alright, that works. Like, every so often, it'll filter back in. But I'm in that point now where that's filtered back to gaming because new PC.
Which is pretty fat. It's a pretty dope computer.
It's a very dope PC. But yeah, apart from that, like, I'm always disappointed at the moment with some of the... any time that Netflix or someone gets a hold of an anime.
Yeah.
Because every time they do, we end up getting a live-action adaptation. And they're painful. They're just so fucking painful.
Yeah.
They never pay attention to the source material. They just go off on a tangent. And it's like, why? Why would you do this? This is just fucking dumb. Like, but recently, one has been giving me hope, and I don't like that. Because if I get my hopes up and it's shit, it'll suck. And that's the
what's that?
the live action One Piece is being built. And what gives me hope for it is they've made working ships. So they've taken like full locations and they've built them completely. So they've thrown a decent chunk of money at the set design to match the style. And they're also typecasting the characters the way that the original creator Oda has their nationality. So the guy playing Luffy is a very Brazilian kind of feel to him and that kind of stuff. Like Sanji is French in a way, Zoro's Japanese, and it's just going through those kinds of things. So they're paying a lot of attention to detail, which either means Netflix has finally figured out to put a fan in charge of running as a director, or they've at least learnt listen and read the source material, which gives me hope that they might be able to turn that shit around. Because let's face it, Netflix needs to have something going for them again. Like,
yeah,
they were just shotgunning shit at the wall for a while, going, "Yeah, fuck it, you'll watch it, you'll love it, consume, children." And then when everyone burnt through the catalog, it's like, well, now we want to watch good things. It's like, oh, okay, guess we'll make good things again.
Just on a slightly different note, did either of you watch Final Space on Netflix?
Yes. I really enjoyed Final Space.
Well, the third season will be the absolute last. Gone.
Yeah, I know. I've already watched it.
Yeah. Well, not only will that be the last, but Warner Brothers has pulled all physical versions of it, will remove it completely from Netflix. They've decided that it's going to be a tax write-off, and they're pretty much deleting it from everywhere.
Oh, for fuck's
Why?
sake.
Like,
So,
for what reason?
literally, they're calling it as a tax write-off. They're just wiping it from everything, stating that it's a loss, and they're using that to bolster up other profits. So the
Wow.
bloke who developed it, pitched it, everything, like sunk his soul into making it, he was told, I think it was 2 days before they stopped all physical production, and yeah, they're just, the only reason you'll ever know it existed is if you got a memory of it or you bought a physical copy of it. Other than that, it will be gone.
That is some
That is
bullshit.
fucking weird. Like,
The DVDs of the first 2 seasons are no longer available, and no physical edition of season 3 will ever be created.
What the
holy
So-
shit.
It's gone. Yeah, your
That
memory of
is so
Final Space will
weird.
be the only proof it ever existed unless you already own a copy.
But it was so good.
Yeah, it was freaking...
Yeah.
I really enjoyed Final Space.
Yeah, like, that first season where the countdown to death
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, that. Do you
Like-
want a cookie? No. No cookie for you. Like, that just cracked me up.
it was
I
great.
absolutely love that. And then the actual, like, the growth of that character and, like, actually becoming someone that's like, holy fuck, I actually like these people in this. This is really cool.
Hell,
then-
I built a D&D character around Hugh, the AI computer from the ship.
Yeah.
Like, it's... I don't understand. As a tax write-off, it's like, guys, what the hell? There are other things you could write off.
Look, I hate the fact that you're like, okay, we wanna can it. Okay, but shows get canned all the time. To scrub its existence?
It's like,
Which, like,
it's not just, all right, we're going to cancel it, but we've got 3 seasons out. You may as well just release it. We'll get a few more scratch in. Nope. Season 3,
Yeah.
you won't ever find a DVD release of it. So,
I mean, it coincides with all that stuff that happened with, was it WB who scrubbed all their animated content?
yeah, a whole heap of it.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, because they fully scrubbed the internet of Infinity Train.
Yeah. Like, I don't understand. If you're going to scrub anything from Warner Brothers, why not scrub anything from fucking DC?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
just
plenty to
scrub
fucking
that.
Scrub there.
Scrub that start again, because it's shit. Like, there's very little worth keeping. I don't even like the Batman movies, to be honest. Like, unless it's the old school stuff with, like, Schwarzenegger and that kind of thing. Don't care.
That's more.
I only like those because
That's
they're
more
dumb.
Bat
goofy.
nipples.
That's more like. That's closer to the comic books of the time.
Yeah. Like,
Not-
hell,
not
Bat
dark
nipples
and
and the Bat
broody.
credit card.
Yeah.
It was...
Yeah.
And then we got to the Nolan years where it's just, I needed subtitles to hear what fucking Batman was saying, and I needed subtitles for when he was talking to Bane, who he was...
I think the weirder bit was the fact that each movie was completely tonally different.
Yeah. Also, I maintained that last villain was not Bane. That was someone pretending to be Bane.
Though this latest iteration of Batman, I thoroughly enjoyed that. Like year 1
Yeah.
Detective Batman, fucking, I enjoyed that.
Oh yeah.
I did actually really enjoy that movie. And, like, you know, Pattinson showed he can actually act, which is
Yeah.
fun.
That being said, I think my favorite current Batman is the one from Harley,
Yes, that is good fun.
where he is a giant man-child, and it's so fucking good.
I have been enjoying Harley Quinn. That animated series is great.
I think I've only
yeah,
ever seen the first
oh.
season of that, but I've really thoroughly enjoyed it. I would like to see more of it.
There's like 3 seasons now?
I think they're on season 3 now.
Yeah, it's still coming out, I think. But yeah, definitely 3 seasons,
Yeah.
and worth each watching them. Let's do it.
And that Batman is great. He is such
Not just
a
Batman. The
bitch.
entire Bat family is hilariously done.
God, I love how fucking insecure Nightwing
Oh,
is.
he's so insecure. My favorite thing is, like, he turns back up and he's doing his own version of the Bat voice. And Batman's like, your voice is weird. Like, and they just have that weirdness. Don't you think it's a bit too dramatic? It's like, you're lecturing me about having a dramatic voice. It's great fun. Batgirl is just hyper.
Fucking Damien.
Oh, Damien is a fucking child. An actual child. Is hilarious.
Oh, he's so good though. It's like, you know, like fucking Nightwing's trying to give him shit, but it's like, look, man, I was raised by an assassin's cult. Shut up.
Yeah. Although I do like, there's a bit where he starts claiming to be Harley's, like, nemesis. I think it's in the first season.
Yeah.
And I love that entire thing. Where it's like, when, like, the sit-down talk with Batman, which is like, I didn't have my nemesis till I was in my early 30s. It's like, don't lie to me. No, it's true. You want your first nemesis to be special. It's like, they go through that whole thing.
Just wait, and it'll happen in time.
Yeah, at which point the final words of the episode being like, oh, that all makes sense. When can I start having sex? It's like, oh look, the bat signal just like it runs off.
Though,
It's
like,
great.
even Kaylee Cuoco, like, doing the voice of Harley Quinn, I never would have picked that actually working. And it's like,
No,
that
neither
does.
would I.
Holy shit, that's actually a really
Yeah.
cool fucking Harley.
Yeah, I just love the comedy of it as well. Like the cancer ray. Like, there's 2 goons just chatting, and at which point Harley Quinn bursts in and shoots him with the ray. It's like, and right before this, they're talking like, you gotta go tell your family for Christmas. It's like, I want to, but you know the kids are being weird. Runs in, shoots the guy. He's like, holy shit, you just give me cancer? Like, Harley Quinn gave me cancer. It's like, I'm so sorry. Why would they even make this as a gun? Like, screw all of you. I'm going to see my kids. It just runs out the room.
But,
Like, it's just
if you
fun.
watch, like, if you're seeing a kid watching that on a phone with earbuds in, you say, "Oh, they're just watching a cartoon, watching Batman." Oh, great! And
Yeah.
when you start listening to it, it's like, "Holy fuck, this is not for kids." Holy shit!
No.
Also,
no.
I honestly love their version of the shark. What's his name?
King
Shark. I love their version of him. Just a tech nerd.
So good. But he's still a shark.
Yeah.
There's an episode where they need to get rid of a body, so they call him just so he can eat
Yeah.
it.
So I'll do it, but I don't like the assumption. It's like, it's great. And hell, the first time he turns up, just like walking over and biting some guy's head off because he's working at a security console. It's like, it's not a kid's cartoon.
No, but first glance, like looking at it, you're going, "Okay, well, this is going to be like a Warner Brothers Saturday morning Batman." No, no, it is not.
Not at all. It's ooh.
Look, I'm a big proponent of the original 90s Batman cartoon as being the best
Animated
Batman
series,
cartoon.
fuck yeah. But this is a very close second.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
I
yeah.
the thing for me is between Harley Quinn and Lower Decks, they're the forerunners for animation at the moment, I think. For animated shows
Yeah.
for our generation or our age, it's pretty good. Like, Archer's fun and everything, but those ones are just... They hit that Saturday morning cartoon feel, but for adults. And it's good.
That being said, Archer is actually finally swinging back in the right direction.
They are, yes.
If you watch any of the current season, it feels like early Archer.
When they
It
started
does.
It's
chopping
actually
genres
good.
in Archer, I sort of got lost a bit there. It's like, what's the
They've
fucking
stopped
point?
that.
Skip
Yeah.
it. It's not important. Like, once they finish that whole dream arc,
Yeah.
they ditch it. None of it was important.
Yeah.
You can just skip.
It just goes
So
back
if
to
you-
what it was.
What is it? If you watched up to season 6, I think it is, and then after that, I think no 7. The next season 8 is where they start doing the genre flicks.
Yeah.
So you could watch up to season 7 and be like, "Yep, this is just one continuous plot of Archer." Then skip the next 3 seasons and then pick it back up at season 11. But like season 11 and 12 for like course correction. Season 13 is like, "Oh yeah, cool. We're back on.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I enjoy the new season, but Lower Decks and Harley Quinn have just been great.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Lower Decks is.
I just love, like, Lower Decks is just Red Shirts, the animated series, and it's great. Like, I don't know if you've actually watched it, Jondoe, but the first season has the greatest ascension scene I have ever seen.
I haven't.
Why does it hurt?
I haven't seen it, but again, it's on my list.
If we force you to watch anything first, it'll definitely be Lower Decks, I think.
Well, I mean, that one's very put up on a second
Yeah.
honorable.
All right,
Pretty much.
I can run with that.
And on that note, we're at past an hour, so I think we're going to need to wrap things up. I hope you all enjoyed our
That's
anime
a
rant.
solid hour of anime talk.
There's a solid 45 minutes of that is just us yelling names at Jondoe as he just sits there going, I don't know what you're saying.
I've got a list, but I'll work through some of it.
One day.
And the only one, out of the entire 45-minute rant, the only one he remembered was
I
86.
Yeah.
like mechas. I can't help it. I'm sure I'll find some of the others, a few of the...
Can't go wrong with giant Ruberts.
No,
No.
but we'll find it. All good.
Oh, Jesus Christ, while I think about it. If you like mecha and you like it getting a little dark, check... if you didn't know, Bandai Namco actually uploads all of the new Gundam shows onto their YouTube channel for free that you can just watch.
Fuck yeah.
They put out the prologue for the newest season of Gundam. Holy shit, that thing's giving me IBO vibes.
Yeah,
Alright.
Iron Blooded Orphans was a great series, and getting the same vibes from a new one's like, I'm in. You've got me, Gundam. We've ditched
I
the
would
Shinji
highly
pilot.
I would highly suggest checking out that trailer. It is it's a prologue for the season that's about to come
Yeah.
out, but it looks fucking good.
I'm just really glad they moved away from having Shinji as a pilot. Like, we don't want crybaby Gundam pilots. Give us someone with no emotions who's gonna murder shit, please. And then we got that, and it was great.
I'd still firmly believe that IBO was never supposed to be a Gundam show.
Yeah, no, they must have slapped on. We need a new range of Ruberts. That looks good. That's ours now.
pretty sure they were just like, we can't sell this as a mecha on its own. Gundam, and now we've automatically sold it to a huge audience.
Yeah.
We need to make the dollars quick.
We need to make the monies.
Anyway, as I said, we're done for the week.
All right.
Have a good one, guys.
See ya.
Stop talking.
Bye.
Bye.